Hello and welcome to the Meeting Your Soul podcast. I'm Farah, your host, and as always, thank you so much for joining me and being a part of this community. It means the world to me that you continue to show up, that you listen in, and as always, I am hoping to be able to give you a few nuggets to be able to incorporate into your daily life to hopefully find more ease and more connection with yourself and with those around you. And that is exactly why today I'm going to talk about sorry, I'm going to drink a little water while I'm talking about this, is I want to talk about signs from the universe. I was just talking about this with the people at my office. We're kind of joking around about it, but there's so much truth to it. And so it might be a little witchy, it might get a little out there, it might be a little woo-woo for some of you, but I do think that there's an opportunity to be able to really tap into your intuition and really the way that the universe and nature is speaking to you and the world around you. And sometimes we lose sight of that because we're busy, we're distracted, we have a ton of things going on, or we dismiss it. But there can be ways that we find these little omens. If you've read The Alchemist, the entire book is really about how you can listen to the signs that are coming up in your life to help direct you. And that's a book that is read across the world and has ancient practices and traditions that support it as well. They're all intertwined. And it's just an opportunity for you to be able to access this information, to be able to help steer you in the right direction, or to get sometimes confirmation that what you're doing is exactly what you need to be doing. And sometimes we're asking for that. We're asking for guidance. We're praying about it, or we're asking for clarity, and we're asking ourselves, or like, what decision should I make? And, or, should I talk to this person? What direction should I go in within my life or my career or a friendship or a conversation or something difficult that's challenging that's occurring within your life? And we forget that we can actually get that input, we can get that insight with the world around us if we're looking for it, if we're seeking it. And I think first and foremost, what's most important is to really listen to your response to whatever occurs. If you see angel numbers on a regular basis or whatever, like there's a way that the universe is communicating with you. And I think really honing in on what that means for you and how you access that information, because I think it's very variable on who you are and what resonates and what sticks and what you're going to actually pay attention to. So I'm going to share a few things that I typically will do and what I incorporate honestly into my daily life. It is very much a part of like how I operate and how I make decisions and like all the things. And I'm telling you, it never steers me wrong. It always gets me right. So know that this is tried and true for myself, but it takes a little bit of time and practice to be able to really hone in on it and to kind of work out the kinks of how you're communicating and how the information is being shared and transmitted to you. So I'm going to give 5 things that I typically will look out for that work for me, but I think ultimately it's whatever you get that kind of like peaceful, that calm feeling that washes over you when you access it or when you receive it, to be able to be like, and just like this knowing or claircognizant, to be able to really get this knowing that washes over you that feels true and authentic and like right, and I think no matter who you are, you've had that feeling before, and you know that is usually leading you in a positive direction. So trust that, know that, and move and work with that. But there's some kind of things that you can even then test it out and just see like what comes up. So one thing for me, one of the easiest ways for me to communicate with the universe, and just ones that is like I've just used for the last couple of years, is colors. Always colors. So it's like, I usually will align like this color is going to help direct me. And if it's this color, then I know that this is pointing me in the right direction. Shit you not, swear to you on my life, then people will show up with that color on. I'll see it like a sign that has like exact lettering of like a question or something I'm thinking about will be the like word or the phrase will be in that color. Like I will, my daughter will then want to only wear that color, or she's like, Mommy, we got to wear this, or she'll point to a sign that's that color and like whatever it's directing towards. Like I'm telling you, it is so, and it's so obvious. I'm a very visual person. So color for me is like an easy one. And I set the stage for it. I set the tone. So I'm like, okay, God, universe, spirit guides, whatever you want to, label it, is like, this is the color that I'm looking for, and this is going to help guide me as I move forward. And so then it just keeps coming up. And it's usually like if I'm like having a question or something I'm concerned about or I'm unsure about, that like I don't know which way I'm gonna go, then that color will appear and I'm like, bingo, like that's it. And so it's like allow the universe to help you more, allow God to and spirit and your guides and your angels and the other side, if you will, to be able to really step in and to be able to help nurture you so that you're able to not have to do this alone. You're not alone. You're doing this with a collective. And there's also even people within this world. Like I said, like sometimes people in my life will come up and they'll be wearing the color and then they'll say something just very potent. And I'm like, it's so weird that you said that because I was just thinking about this and now you're mentioning this phrase or this thing that you've experienced personally. And now we're able to talk about it. We're able to connect on it. And then we're able to be a supportive force for one another too. And I think that that's also really key. So color is definitely one tried and true. It's one I use all the time. I set a new color, even like on a weekly basis. Sometimes there's themes and colors that last over time. They also just reminders of other people in my life, also connections with those people. Like there was a phase where I was very like lavender was like a couple months ago and I was all lavender. And I was using that as just kind of this like signal post. And so interesting because, okay, full disclosure. So New Year's Eve night, I go out, I'm wearing lavender. And why do I meet like a gentleman that is wearing the exact same lavender color as me? And then we end up having a total blast and just having so much fun together all night. Coincidence? I think not. But it's like those points where it's like there's a choice, like I picked that color. I didn't know why. My intuition led me to that color. I trusted it. I leaned into it. And then what came of it. Don't try to force any of these things, because if you try to force this or like fit them into a box, it's definitely going to backfire, or you're going to apply your ego or like your preconceived notions of how you think something should be, and it's never going to work out the way that it should. So just trust, lean back, put it out there, and then let it be gifted back to you. Okay. So color, if you want to have a color that you want to set, maybe wearing it right now, I'm all red. So I'm like literally wearing red nonstop. It's the color I want to wear. It's like, it's also a signpost for me. If I see things that are red, it helps direct me. People then come wearing red. Like it is and it's a consistent one for me. So that's definitely one. I think number two, also this has like come up in like Native American traditions. This has been like practiced for many thousands of years, is the idea of animal, like spirit animals and spirit guides in the form of an animal that's going to appear in your life. You can look up any animal and pretty much see some type of correlation with, I always like look, like I'll see an animal, like one time I remember I saw a fox like 6 times. I was like, fox shapes, or I saw peacocks for like 3 weeks and I was just like seeing peacocks on a tattoo on someone's arm, and a branding. It was like a kid's like painting that was on the ground. Like it was just like one thing after another. Peacocks kept appearing. Look up what the peacock represents. You can Google pretty much, or any animal, you can Google what they represent. I usually will say spirit meaning and there'll be like some divine meaning, but there's so much variability in it that I also encourage you just to take a step back and to think about what you were thinking about right before you saw it, or what that symbolizes to you, because the meaning and what resonates and sticks with you is first and foremost what's most important. So you can research it, you can look online, but I would say really lean into your own self of like, what does this actually visually represent for me? What, did I have a boxer, as my dog that I was growing up with, and then my sister so happened to have like puppies that were part boxer, and then I was like, that's obviously going to be my dog. So like there's points and like references that you can like access them, but and like in the World Wide Web, I don't even know when's the last time you even heard someone say that. Anyways, I won't go into more, but like on the web, like you can go research it, but then also just like take a moment to reflect on what that means for you as well. So first, colors. 2, animals, big one for me. 3, numbers. Angel numbers are always apparent in my life. I saw this one meme and it was like so funny, and it was like, I don't look at the clock often, but when I do, it's always an angel number, or it's always 333 or something along those lines. From like the one like who was it, the Pacifica guy or whatever it was. Anyway, so. And it's true. So like and they usually symbolize different things. So it's whatever I'm having a question about or whatever's going on in my life. Like I see angel numbers all day. Like literally every time I look at my clock, it's an angel number. Or every time I like look at a license plate, they come up constantly. It's one of the most consistent things that I would say that comes up for me personally is angel numbers. And that's definitely because I've put the intention out there. I've spread it out. I'm like, hey, angel, like I'm really like seeking guidance within this way. Like I'm trying to figure this out. Spirit guides, can you help me? And then the numbers come through. Like 222 is alignment, 999 is there's going to be a big change. Something's ending, something's concluding, wrapping up, and you're moving into another chapter. I've been constantly seeing nines lately. And it's also during the time of eclipse season where we're meant to be transforming, we're meant to be reflecting, we're meant to be shedding old layers of ourselves to transform into something new. So it's happening full-fledged everywhere. So that one's angel numbers are a big one for me too. Like 1111 is 111. It's usually when you're manifesting something. What are you calling in? What are you creating? Also, number 1 represents creativity. 444, another constant one for me. That one is representative of like you're protected. Angels and guides are watching out for you. You're on your path. Trust, believe, know that you're protected. Like 666 is one that I didn't necessarily, and I know that one has like some negative connotation to it, but it also represents like refocus, recognize where you're directing your energy, maybe sometimes refocus your energy, recalibrate a little bit. So that could be one to be like, okay, however you're looking at something, maybe change the perspective that you're taking at the angle that you're looking at it. So it is an opportunity of reflection. 888 tends to be associated with abundance in any form, financially or even energetically, whatever, what have you. Like that one's abundance. 777, good luck. Kind of that spiritual like alignment. Something's like, and 222 tends to be like that you're on your right path, that you're moving towards what you need to. But I would say like 777 is also like that reminder, like things are coming to you, things are flowing to you, like good fortune is coming your way. And then 888 is more with abundance. 555, big change is coming. So something's about to shift. There's going to be things that are going to be shaken up. Transformation, change, a shift is going to occur. 999, don't get confused with 999, which is more of like the conclusion of something, the ending of something. If you think about 9, the end. So that one's the end of something. And then there's bound to be that then shift that's occurred. 333 is also like kind of this opportunity to be able to recalibrate, to connect, to think about something from all 3 sides, from mind, body, and spirit, thinking about how everything connects, and then adjusting or taking a step back to reevaluate how you're viewing something is what I would think it would be a reminder of. And this is all just my own personal experience. This is how I associate with this, the angel numbers. You can definitely, again, research these, look into it. And then again, whatever you're experiencing in that moment, then take a moment of reflection. Like it might, like you're thinking about, think of what you're considering, what story you're talking about within your mind, or even a conversation that you're having. And then whatever angel number is that appears, think about how it applies, and maybe even take a moment to pause and reflect on like, what does that angel number represent? And allow the answers to come to you. Don't feel like you need to force it again into a box, or that has to fit some type of parameter of what it should be. Like the intuition, it's flexible, it's a little fluid, so like just let it be what it is and see what comes of that. And there might be some real beauty that gets created from it. And again, these are just all messages. These are all just insight. These are little points of reference for you to be able to help create a smoother path for yourself. So it's not end all be all. It's not always consistent. It's not always the same, but that's the beauty of it. That's where I find the magic within all of it. And that's really where we access the magic of the universe, at least for me, is like to be able to look to these signs, these omens, these opportunities to connect with the other side, to be able to keep me on the path and aligned with what I'm intended to do on this earth in this lifetime. So angel numbers, another constant for me. Research it. There's Mystic Michaela is like one of my favorite aura readers. She has like a whole book on angel numbers, so you can access that if you're like curious more and learning more about it. But angel numbers definitely been a huge game changer for me. Come up constantly. Probably the most consistent thing that I communicate, how I communicate with the universe, is definitely angel numbers. So if they're coming up for you on a repetitive basis, again, reflect on what you're thinking about, what's going on when you see them, and then also what they represent for you. And if you want to look into the specificity of each number, I would really encourage you to do so, just to be able to get some direction on why it's coming up and how that might then help you going forward. Again, just creating more clarity, creating a more concise communication, if you will. And so we talked about colors, animals, numbers. The fourth one for me is, I would say, people. So usually, someone might be coming in with a specific color that, or wearing an animal, and then they have a very specific message that they share with me. And I'm like, this is very strange, because literally I just was thinking about this and I was wondering what I should do about it. And now you're sharing this message with the sign, with the signs that align, that you're, showing me the message I need to hear. And then also the phrase and what you're sharing with me is also very obvious and very potent, and it's very serendipitous that this is occurring. Again, it's no accident. I ask for guidance, I'm receiving it. And then there's people, I believe that there's angels on this earth. We're all messengers in a way, if we allow ourselves to be. And I think one thing that I've learned the most over the last couple of years is how much I am a messenger for others. I'm a conduit for the divine to work through me, and I share messages all the time. All the time. People constantly tell me, this is so weird that you're saying this. And I don't always know why I'm saying it. I don't know why it's coming out of my mouth. I don't know why I'm sharing it. I don't know why I'm bringing it up. But I do feel like there's a reason why it's coming out. So I trust that and I believe in it. And so then I am able to be that messenger for that person. But then there's so many people around me that do the same thing. They're constantly messengers for me. And they're just confirmations and reminders that I'm on the right path. I connect with people at certain points, or they say certain things, or they remind me, or they just give me reassurance, or they give me some love, or they keep me on my path. They keep me going to remind me that that there's a reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I just need to keep going. And there's been plenty of messengers within my life that have been that case, that there's people that are really close to me, usually people that are very spiritual. Or then there's also people that are just within my life that have more of a spiritual connection, that maybe don't even know why they're doing this, but they just said it. Like one of my best friends, right before I got engaged, I was with her and she's like, "You're going to get engaged today." And I was like, well, that's a bold statement. And, obviously we had talked about it, it had been conversation, but I was like, no, there's no way, he doesn't know my ring size. There's no way I could have gotten it. I'm not getting engaged today. And sure shit, I got engaged that day. Did she know why she said it to me? Did she know why she brought it up? No. But she did, and she was right. Is she a super spiritual person that meditates every day? No. She just knows, and she shares it, and she lets those messages move through her. She is a Pisces though, so I do think there's something to that, but neither here nor there. But I do think that when you allow yourself to be able to receive these guidance from the people around you, or you have an elder within your family that wants to share something with you or give you a piece of advice, listen to it, be humble, hear them out. You are around someone else that wants to be a supportive figure for you, and that I truly think it's God working through all of us, it's the divine moving through all of us so that we can support and help one another. You're not meant to do this alone. I have to keep coming back to that, but I think it's a constant reminder that sometimes we feel like we're in this and that we have no support, or we're going through a hard time and we don't know how we're going to overcome it. You don't have to do it by yourself. Seek out that support from the community that's around you, and recognize there's other people that are wanting to be there for you and to help you along. And it's not always going to be perfect. That person doesn't have any more knowledge or experience, or they don't have any more divine insight than you do necessarily within you, but in that moment, recognize that there might be a reason why they're sharing what they're sharing, and allow them to do so, so they can also be strengthened and trusting their own intuition to be able to share those messages. There is that ripple effect, and then there's that cyclical effect that we're strengthening our intuitions together. We're galvanizing that bond between us by supporting one another and hearing one another, seeing one another, and listening and believing in one another. And I think there's so much power in that. I think that that's where it gets lost, because then, that person made a mistake, or they did something weird, or blah, 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 XYZ. It doesn't fucking matter, because in that moment, what they were meant to do is what they did, and they did that. So no one's perfect. We're all on this earth, and we're all learning together. So offering some grace along those times, just as they would do for you, that you can also offer it for them. So fourth thing, messages, listen, hear them out. You might even walk by someone's conversation and you hear something and you're like, oh, that's so weird that they specifically said that statement, because it's exactly the answer and clarity that I was seeking. It's there. If you're observing, if you're watching, if you're listening, if you're taking it in and you're holding it close to your heart. It can be a grain of salt. You can let it go too. But I think then just, don't attach to every single thing that comes your way, because there might be some signs that are intended for you, or you then are misconstruing that into a sign, or you're trying to then again force it into a sign. Don't do that, because that will backfire. So just let it be what it is, trust it, and then move on, and then just allow it to continue to flow, continue with the movement, right? And so then my last one is really just to I think the elements are underrated, right? The elements are what literally creates our entire universe and the physics behind it. The elements of fire, earth, water, the seasons of air, of these different changes and times that are going on in our lives, and even weather and what's occurring at that point. Like, we are meant to be moving through these cycles intentionally, right? So like in the time of hibernation of winter, to be able to slow down, to reflect, to be able to, be able to spend quality time with the people around us. There's no coincidence that that's also the time of where a lot of our gatherings occur, the harvest time, where we then slow down. We spend more time indoors because it's colder outside. Like, there is a reason why our system and our universe is organized and our world operates the way that it does. So like receiving that insight from the world is just as powerful. So it can be situational and kind of like one-offs, but then it also could be these larger significant shifts and transitions that occur within as a collective that we're all experiencing together. Then you think about, even the spring is occurring right now. And this is a time of renewed energy, of inspiration, of new beginnings, of planting seeds, of planting out new intentions, of growth, of change, of being able to initiate new ideas, to be able to access this new sense of energy and sunshine that's like illuminating within our lives, that's inspiring us, that's keeping us going, that's waking us up from the slumber of winter. So like even those can be ways that signify different representations of things that are occurring within our lives. And or if you're thinking and reflecting, water is that it holds memory, it holds knowledge, it holds wisdom, that if we're able to access it, that we're able to then utilize it. If you're astrology, if you know your astrology, what signs do you represent, which ones are aligned with kind of your bigger purpose, looking into your Mercury, into your Mars, and so Mercury is how you communicate, Mars is how you pursue your goals, your Jupiter is how you attract abundance and good luck, like and then what am I thinking of, Mars, and also your career, Venus is how you approach love. Like, looking into what those signs are, where they are within what house they're in, and then what like sign or what element they're associated with. Like, so many people are like, oh, astrology is just like all these signs, they don't make any sense. They're associated with signs, they're associated with elements, and like the elements are then cardinal elements that are then connected, or there's like square, so then it's the same elements and different signs. Like, it's a very complex system, but if you think about it and you just take a step back and you just recognize, like, if you're a fire sign, if you're an Aries, your fire, your transformation, you like to transform, you like to initiate new things, you're bold, you take action, you move forward, you take decisive, you make decisions and you take action to move forward and whatever goal you're working towards. You don't mind competition, you like it, it fills you up, it fuels you. So like recognizing even within that then if you are then inspired when you're in hotter environments, that there can be connection to that. If you see a flame and you're like, I love being around fire, there might be a reason for that too. Like, all of it comes together. So that's kind of more on the collective, like overarching kind of like signs that you can access. But I think then looking and reflecting on what is significant to you, and then also then how then you can request information from the universe in correlation to that. And then again, it all then comes back around, and then you're just getting more input to be able to help direct you. Don't look too much into this. Don't overanalyze this. It will backfire. I'm telling you, it will backfire. But take moments, like even songs that come up for certain reasons, and you're like, wow, I was just thinking about that person, then suddenly that song came up. That's weird. Like, wonder why, you know? Like, there's a reason why you were reminded of it. Your intuition is working for you. And the more that we access it, the more we lean into it, the more that we can like really have that superpower that helps and allows us to be able to kind of have a one up on what we can see in front of us by accessing what we can't necessarily see. Okay. So those are my signs from the universe. I implore you to try this out. If it's a color, if it's an animal, if it's a certain number that you're seeking, maybe it's a certain element that you're curious about or you want to be able to access, or maybe it's your own element and what is comprised of your astrology chart, or maybe it's even a song or an artist that you're seeking, or even like a type of music that you start. Like, I love Afro beats. It's like always, and it's like anyone I meet within Afro beats, it's always a positive experience. I just love it. It just like brings me a lot of joy. So then I notice the people that I align with at those types of events or that listen to that music, I feel like then is a confirmation that we're like on the same page. Like, I saw this one meme, it was like, I wish that was it like Spotify would like align you with like dating profiles for people to listen to the same music as you or something like that. Like, there's a reason why certain music speaks to your heart, you know, and I think it speaks to your soul for a reason. And then when other people are you know, also are tuned to that music or really gravitate towards that music, I think that there's a reason are certain artists, because I think there is something that there's that well within us, that intuitive, that Atman, our inner wisdom, that is leaning towards that, that's drawing us towards that. And maybe the other people that then are also interested in that type of music or that type of art or form, and whatever it is, there's a reason why then they're also being pulled in that direction. As Rumi says, listen to the strange pulls of your heart. It will never lead you astray. And there's so much truth to that. Like, there is a reason why you're being guided in the way that you are. And the more that we access that, the more we listen into that, the more that we can hopefully move in the direction that is destined for us. And we always have free will. You know, free will exists nonstop. So know that it's not always going to be instant. There's might be some stumbling blocks, and you might have a choice of which direction you go in. And you can choose to go into what you've done in the past. Is it a pattern? Or you can choose to move forward in the direction that's calling to you. And if that's through numbers, colors, animals, people, whatever, what have you, it is what it is for you. So believe it, trust it, and take action from it. Let me know, comment with your color, something that is coming up for you, the color that helps guide you, or an animal that is always like reappearing within your life or has been a concept for you. I'd love to hear more about it, and just how your omen is helping protect you and keep you on track. And if you have any questions about it, comment below on the YouTube channel or even on Spotify, or you can check me out on the gram and share what your thoughts are there at Ferrachino, Ferrachino. And then you can also find me on Pinterest, on YouTube, all the things, all at Ferrachino. Talk to you soon. Peace out.